Alright guys, I just thought I'd make a video detailing what I think about the 3.19 changes and the debacle that the league has actually turned out to be. There's a lot of people talking about it. Usually I wouldn't really feel the need to make a video about this, but just want to say my piece just for my own benefit more than anything. Just feel like there's a lot to be said to get it off my chest. First thing I want to talk about is the loot nerfs, which again was never documented in the patch notes or in the QA with Chris Wilson. No mention of it anywhere before the game actually came out. I'll just show you what I actually have. I thought it was funny, people were talking about having no alchemy orbs, where I actually had my biggest issue was transmutes, because they weren't dropping. I was using a few of them for my crafts, for the shitty res, and I had to use I think it was like 8 for this chopper thing, so I used a few for crafting, and then I was just transmuting my maps, and I was still running low. Like I've got 14, and I was starting to, like, they were, I think when I actually got the maps, I had about 30 or 20, somewhere about that region, and they've been going down, not up, and that was after me doing maps. I haven't really played this character since day one. I've played 11 hours. I probably left it on when I was bitching online about it, but basically I played 3 hours at the league launch, went to bed because it comes out at 9 PM here, and then I played like another 4 hours, 5 hours getting the maps, and then I got level 78 just doing maps, working on my progression here. Didn't get that far, as you can see as well. Chance orbs are very low. I run out of chance orbs basically. I couldn't really buy any more maps because I run out of chance orbs.
Got my eye on you.
It's kind of comical actually. So my map progression was pretty dead. I was running out of transmutes, wasn't getting any loot. Harvest basically gutted. Couldn't really progress. You know, obviously players are able to progress because some people have got like high levels in the red maps and stuff, but as a berserker it's very tough. What else do I want to talk about? Yeah, so the loot wasn't a bug. This is what I thought it was. It was actually intended, as you can see from Chris Wilson's post. Also, Harvest is basically useless now. The first initial one I did, I thought it was bugged as well because I killed the first patch and it didn't drop anything, and I killed the next one, didn't drop anything, and then I think when I killed the third or fourth, it actually dropped me like maybe like 30 harvest juice. And as you can see here, you need 50 for the most basic crafts. It's also been nerfed to the ground because a lot of the crafts have been removed, and apparently people are saying that the more likely it's been nerfed because now it needs to say much more likely, which needs to be 90% chance of retaining the mod. Now it's just 10%, so it's basically useless now. It's basically, it should be just probably removed from the game at this point because it's completely worthless, even though it was one of the best things that I believe they added to the game. Another thing is Lake of Macalandra. It's a boring mechanic. I was just like saving them up. I did a couple at the start when I got into maps, and then just started saving them up because they're kind of cack. They're completely boring. They're not rewarding. I know they buffed it recently, and they're also extremely rippy and the mobs are way too tanky if you actually get up to a higher difficulty. It says one of these things where Lake of Macalandra could fix it. It's not actually that big of an issue, because usually the leagues come out, they're a bit under-tuned in terms of rewards, so usually they buff them up. It's almost expected at this point. It's a bit annoying, but you get used to it. And also that actually is probably one of the easier things they could fix. Another biggest problem I think with PoE, and this is the reason why I'm making this video really, is like the loot nerfs and the archname just won't. It's like a design principle that Chris Wilson seems to want to push, and it is, in my opinion, like terrible game design. It's like in one of the videos, I think from Sentinel League with the QA, I think he had, and I maybe put a clip of it if I can find it.
I believe that a good part of Excel experience is that you can handle the maps you're doing. But while you're handling the maps, there should be combinations of random elements where 2 or more things come together that wake you up. So it should be that you know each mod individually you can do, but when there are 2 mods, that's interesting and dangerous. Now,
up in maps, so like he wants to put in like randomly hard rare mobs just in the map, which is a terrible game design for this type of game, I think, because like people want to blast maps. They want to sit down once they get their gear rolling, they get good gear. They want to blast maps quickly, get the juice, get it going, kill all the mobs, and pop out. And they just want to switch off their brain and just mindlessly do that. I find the game is better when, you know, that's a great gameplay loop. And then if you wanted harder content, you can juice up your maps even further, or go do pinnacle bosses or uber bosses. So you know, which they added in Sentinel. So like the end game was already increased. So it's like it doesn't, like, it's not fun to be quote woken up during maps. It's actually terrible. And I think the player base, the community being upset about it is reasonable, because it's just like it's not fun. And he seems to. This is what worries me about PoE going forward. Like, I hope this isn't the beginning of the end, because like these loot changes are intended, and this arch nemesis, like, even though the community for free leagues now has been saying it's garbage, it's not going anywhere. It's staying, and I don't feel like. I think Chris Wilson wants the game to be like old PoE, like 2.0 PoE, which actually have some characters from them, which was like extremely grindy. Like, these are really old like characters when the game first came out. I used to play this game, and I actually basically stopped playing for the same reason, where it was just overly grindy. You couldn't get into maps because you didn't have any currency. You couldn't find any maps. It was just you could not really progress in the game as a solo player, because you just never had the currency to push in that high maps. And I feel like this is the direction that Chris Wilson wants to take the game again. He wants it to be like grinding gear games. Like, you see the twinkle in his eye when he talks about like the old times, where of like how good Diablo 2 was, because the loot was so precious, because it was so little of it. Like, I feel like this is the direction that the game's moving in, and it's moving further away from like what I think the best time of the game was, like, which was Ritual League, where loot was good. You could actually craft stuff yourself. But this is just some of my thoughts on it, and hopefully every first course, then we get a game that we actually all can enjoy, and not some weird quote fission.